Yes, hello and welcome to 360 Sports on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. It's a great day. Another lovely Monday in the city of Abuja. We've got a whole lined up on the program this lovely morning, and we'll be looking at stories making the rounds in the world of sport. Team Nigerian preparation for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games on the 26th of this month, just have days away from now. The Paris game will be starting in France, and Team Nigeria is preparing hard to see that yes, we don't just go there to complete the numbers, but rather we'll go there and come back with medals and finish at the podium. Podium finishes is what is our target. We will be seeing our athletes, we'll be seeing our wrestlers, our women's footballer, our women's basketball team. We also have Anulu badminton, we have Kano, we have cycling, we have a whole lot, about 12 sports that Nigeria will be showcasing at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. These are many more we'll be looking at on the show this morning. One most especially will be focusing on the D Tigress. How are they preparing for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games? 2 friendlies, 2 losses. They still have 1 friendly left against Japan. We'll be looking at all of that on the show as we move on. But let's start from the Nigerian Cricket Federation, that is the NCF, where our under-19 teams, that is the women's, the under-19 boys and girls teams, are ready for qualifiers. That's the Cricket World Cup qualifiers. That the tournament, the qualifying series would be starting next month, that is August. And we have our 2 teams, the under-19 boys and girls, preparing. They are in camp already as we speak, preparing themselves for these particular qualifiers, and we want to get it right this time around. Coming in from Iguilo, Iguilo, the head of the technical team of the Nigeria Cricket Federation, saying yes, the 2 teams, the under-19 boys and girls, are ready. They are not leaving any stone unturned. They want to get the World Cup qualification ticket. The last time out, we graced the World Cup at the under-19 level. It wasn't really a good outing for us, but this time around, we want to take it a step further and do better in the tournament and even in the qualifiers. But first of all, we have to qualify. We have to play the qualifying series and get there. And after the qualification series, if we can get the ticket, then definitely before we start thinking of taking it a step further in the World Cup. But kudos, if you look at the team is made up of young boys and girls. That's for the under-19 boys, the under-19 girls. They are quite young. I remember the youngest captain when it comes to Nigerian cricket story. We have the youngest captain, Ridwan Abdulkarim. He was 14 years of age when he joined the national team of the Nigerian cricket team at the age of 14. So it's a good thing, and he has been fantastic for the Nigerian we call them the Yellow Greens of Nigeria. So that is what our cricket team is being called, the Yellow Greens of Nigeria. From the age of 14, that's to tell you the exploits he's going to be doing when the time comes. So let's see how it goes for our under-19 team and our under-19 boys cricket team as they are preparing for the Cricket World Cup qualifiers. I told you we have 2 of the best centers, cricket oval in the country. One is here in Abuja and the other one is in Benin City, and they've been using the one at in Benin City. The cricket oval is a world standard in Benin City for that preparation. At the end of the day, the coaches of the side would be selecting the best players to represent us during the qualifiers, and then after the qualifiers, if we can qualify for the World Cup, then we'll just have to pick the best players that will be representing the country and the continent for Africa. Okay, let's move. Let's leave that cricket story quickly and go straight to basketball. It's a preparation game, but how we look at it, that is the Tigers of Nigeria. They lost their second friendly game yesterday right there in Germany. They first lost the first friendly games to Germany, and yesterday again they lost this particular one to Serbia. That game ended 70-60. 61 in 70 for Serbia and 61 for the D Tigers of Nigeria. And Coach Rena Wakama is actually they are using the friendly to actually prepare themselves, not because it's a way of looking at their lapses going to the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. All right, we have Abba Michael joining us on the show this morning from Jos. Abba Michael, welcome to 360 Sports on Trust TV. The first story was that Nigeria under 19 cricket team, boys and girls, preparing for the Cricket World Cup qualifiers.
Yes, I mean, it's a good thing. That is the kind of flying start. I love the fact that they've been able to catch them young. Of course, charity begins at home. When you catch these lads young, we love a situation where before they turn age 23, 24, they are complete professionals. It's unfortunate in the past, Nigerians don't get opportunities. So when they get to this level, it's usually when they are in their late 20s. And so we're happy that they've been able to get them at a very young age, introduce them to the right coaching, the right techniques, allowing them to pass through that cadet developmental stage. We see a very bright future. I see Nigeria becoming a powerhouse as far as this game is concerned.
Okay, we went straight to Germany, where the preparation for the Paris Olympic Games continued with the D Tigers. They lost their second friendly game to Serbia yesterday after losing the first friendly game to Germany, the place where they are camping. But this time around, the second game against Serbia, they also lost. They still have one left against Japan. But if you look at these two games, I think the girls actually gave a good account of themselves. And in my own perspective, I believe the D Tigers are just trying to use the game to correct some of their lapses. They don't really want to show what others will be seeing at the Paris Games.
Well, in my opinion, I want to believe that every preparation, every result you see is from the preparation. It's not the fault of the ladies. So far, so good at our third world level or developing level as far as Nigeria is concerned. We have done our best. The ladies are actually giving a good account of themselves. I mean, if our ladies are subjected to the level of training, the level of exposure that the Japanese or the Germans get, I believe we will do even better. I also want to call on Coach Makama. I saw some very great players in the WNBA circuit. I think it's time to reach out to them because we need them for such a time as this. Unfortunately, Chinwe Ogunike, the sisters, about three of them, I wish they would use their network to get other Nigerian ladies who are applying their training, the WNBA, I mean, to come and play for Nigeria, even across Europe. I mean, we have good players all over. Let them also come. Let's have a best and a formidable squad. United States of America are going with their best team. I mean, even though they are WNBA, their Team USA lost to their WNBA All-Stars yesterday. But then the quality is still there. I saw one lady, the lady who shined like a million stars and beat Team USA is a Nigerian lady. Something at Joe Kell. So she's a Nigerian lady.
Yeah.
I wish we could have such a lady in our D Tigers team. I tell you, we will be a fortress and a powerhouse, just like the Germans and the Japanese. But nevertheless, kudos to Coach Wakama. I think the ladies have given a good account of themselves, not getting embarrassed by basketball powerhouse. I think to me, that's the most important. And I see them working some magic when Olympic proper comes.
Okay, when Olympic proper comes, they will be playing France, Australia, Puerto Rico in that group. The host country is in the same group with the D Tigers of Nigeria. Still talking about the Olympics. It's a justion. We're looking at Team Nigerian's preparation, but this time around, we'll be talking about one athlete, 17-year-old she is. That's Justina Yakubeyen, who says she's ready for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. She was there at the Bahama Relays alongside Favor Philly and Tima God Bless. They got us that ticket 4x1 relay team for women, that ticket to the Paris Olympic Games. But this time around, she's saying she's battle ready, challenging herself to do exploit when the Olympics come curling.
Yeah, of course. You have to believe in yourself. Even in America, they have a certain Quincy Wilson. He is also 16 years old. I think he came 5th or 6th in the 400 meters trials. We also have a certain Miller who ran a 9.93 at the US trials. I think he came 5th. He is also going to be part of the Olympics. So we love it when we see young lads having confidence at an early stage. Usually it's experience that builds extraordinary confidence, but we love it when we see young prodigies, phenomenal kids being outspoken about their confidence level. It reminds me a lot about a young Noah Lyles. Rewind 5 years ago when he first burst onto the scene. He believed so much in himself and he won the World Championships in 2019. So definitely we love it when we see young kids develop such kind of confidence. I believe that Nigeria will be one of the teams to beat when the relay comes calling proper.
Okay, when the relay comes calling proper, Justina Yakovene is a fast rising athlete for Nigeria. She says she's battle ready for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. But looking at our relay team, let's talk about the relay team. She was there, Favor Philly, Tima God Bless, when we got that ticket at the Bahamas. Because I look at other countries' relay team, I think if we get it right, if we get our start right, Nigeria could win a gold in the 4x100 meters team right there in Paris.
At best, let's just look at getting a medal because it's difficult to overcome a quartet that is made up of Shakari Richardson, Twanisha Terry, Titi Terry, Melissa Jefferson. That squad is quite phenomenal. It's going to be difficult to upset. Or do we go to the Jamaican team where we have a Sherika Jackson, or we have a Shelly and Fraser Price, a certain young teenage Tina Clayton. These teams are really, really loaded. Let's be honest with ourselves. We see these are teams that are very formidable. They've been used to running with each other. They are the powerhouse. So I see also another team. Other teams are there. We have the Bahamas. We have teams like the Trinidad. They are there. The Germans are there. I think the Italians too are there. So at best, anything can happen when it comes to the relays. Mistakes happen all the time. So we don't bank on skills right now. We bank on the fact that we don't make mistakes during the batting exchange. We saw at the London Olympics where Tyson Gay, Justin Gatling were stripped of their Olympic medal just because Mike Miller gave Justin Batten the baton just before he crossed the line. So silly mistakes could happen. Of course, we will wish that it will tweak in our favor, that maybe some teams may make one or two errors. Let's not pray bad prayer for our opposition. But then it's going to be a tall order. It's going to be a difficult task. But if they practice their baton exchange properly, their handoffs, I believe that we have a chance to get a medal.
Yes, we have a chance to get a medal at the 4x100 relay team for women. I know we'll be expecting Favor Philly Yakobien herself and Tima God Bless to do us proud in that particular event. Maybe, just maybe, we can see Toby Amuson being drafted in also or whatever. It's just a painful one that our 4x4 women's relay team will not be there. But the good news is for the very first time, Nigeria will be showcasing 4 relay teams that have qualified for the relays event of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. That has never happened in the history of Nigeria going to Olympics. Nigeria started appearing in the Olympics in 1952. We have showcased 777 athletes, 27 medals. All right, let's leave that story. Still talking about preparation for the Paris Olympic Games. This time around, we'll talk about the Super Falcons, where they had their first full training yesterday. Already, they are in France. They are in the host country as we speak, but they had their first full training yesterday, Sunday, where we have the full house preparing against opener, their first game against the Samba Women's of Brazil. We will be playing against Brazil in our first game. Michael, the Super Falcons also, they are also a dreadful team, just the way everybody is looking at Spain, Japan, Brazil in our group. I think the Super Falcons too are not pushovers.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it may be a group of bets, but it doesn't mean that we will be dead and buried. I mean, if any team watch our World Cup performance, you will know that when you are counting the top dogs in the group, Nigeria, regardless of the names of the nations that are being represented in that group of deaths. I believe that defensively, not all those teams in our group can boast of the defensive firepower that we have. I believe so much in our goalkeeper. I believe so much in our defensive lineup. I believe so much in our midfield. Perhaps where I have a little doubt is our strike force. We've been profligate in front of goal. In the last game, you saw that we were hitting the bar over and over. But then, at least it's much better than what we had during the World Cup, where we were defensively solid, but finishing wise, I mean, as Oshuala couldn't really find her groove. I mean, she couldn't just get her rhythm. But I want to believe that if the coach has been able to work on that, work on their finishing as the Olympics approach, Olympics is here before us, tidy those finishes. I believe strongly that we have a chance to qualify out of the group regardless.
Okay, regardless, who will be playing our first game against the Brazilians who defeated Nigeria during the last time we appeared at the Olympic Games was in Beijing 2008, and we lost all our group games. Brazil was also in that group when we lost our game to them. But this time around, the girl says no, the repeat of what happened in 2008 will not happen this time around. They will be playing their games in Bordeaux, and then the other games will be at Nantes, right there in France. So let's see, the Super Falcons had their full training session yesterday and preparing for this game against the Brazilians. We will be looking forward to that game. But quickly, let's talk about let's still dwell with the Super Falcons. Michael, like you mentioned, because up front we have fast, young, energetic striker Jennifer Chejini, who has joined the PSG of recently, and then we also have Asisa Toshola in there. We have Ifeoma Onomono. We have Uchenna Kanu in there too. We have Rasheedat Ajibade, who could also play as a striker, but she loves to play behind the main striker. All of these. Round the wardrobe, I know, do you think it's going to be a selection headache for him? Because defensively,
Yes.
at the middle of the park, we know those who will start. But that front line is where we are really looking at. What do you think round the wardrobe should do up front?
I mean, this is where tactics comes in. I mean, when you have a different formations for your football game, your training session should reveal to you every player's weak points, every player's strength. I expect the coach to not walk alone. Waldron shouldn't walk alone. He should carry out a SWOT analysis on these top-notch strikers. I mean, we watched England at the last Euros. We knew that they had a solid firepower. I mean, you had a Jude Bellingham, you had a Foden. I mean, you had a Saka. You had a hurricane, but the way to blend them mattered so much. And somehow, from the semi-finals, we got to realize that it was then that Gareth Southgate understood how to package the team, when to bring in Cole Palmer, and the other Oli Watkins. So I expect the coach by now should have understood how best this team can work. Which pairing will be the best? Will it be Asisat Ajibade, or will it be Jennifer or Uchenna Kalu? It's left for the coach now to figure out, okay, the team is more potent, the team is more offensive when I go with this combination and that combination. That's why you have a training camp, so you can make all the trials. Be it the 4-3-3 or the 4-4-2 or the 4-5-1. and then find out your best outing so that we don't get nipped in the bud from the group stages. So that's what I expect from Randy Waldrum, and I believe he's capable of putting the right pieces together.
Okay, he's capable of putting the right pieces together. The Super Falcons' first game will be against Brazil. 3 days later, they will take on Spain, and their last game will be against the Japanese team, the Asian powerhouse, former world champions, all of them in the same group, Group C of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. All right, moving ahead from that story, let's go back to the D Tigress, because that is our focus on the show this morning. We'll be looking at the D Tigress, their preparation so far for the games. Michael, we talked about the D Tigress losing that friendly game to Serbia, but let's look at their preparation, putting all of this together. These girls, after they won the Afro Basket last year, they didn't really they didn't really play competition together. They all went back to their various clubs in America and also in Europe. But this time around, though they themselves and wrestling were the first team to go into camping for the Paris Olympic Games. 1 month is 1 month enough for these girls to do well at the Paris Games?
1 month is definitely not enough. I mean, for those of us who have been following sports for quite some time, you know that in order to win an Olympic gold medal, you have to start preparing immediately after the Olympics. The Olympics is what you use 4 years to prepare. You don't use a year to prepare for the Olympics. However, be that as it may, the situation may not be favorable to do that, especially in a certain country called Nigeria. But nevertheless, I still want to commend them for being able to find a way to package the team, be it a month or two before crunch time. I think it's a step in the right direction, as long as the girls are focused, as long as the coach, Coach Wakama, is making the team in sync. I think that's what matters most. They should just work on their efficiency. If you want to beat top teams, you have to work on your stops, defensive stops. You need to create what we call the zone defense in basketball. If you are able to maximize the zone defense, basketballers know what I'm talking about. I think it will go a long way. They need to lock down the trapezium to ensure that if they are going to beat them, if the D Tigers will lose, they should lose from outside shooting, but not from players driving in at will. I think the twin towers, the power forward and the center, needs to work in synergy to see how they can discourage offensive players from driving into the hoop, and then we need good rim protectors. I believe we have those, so they should focus more on playing good defense. When you have good defense, it wins championships. So that's my advice for Coach Wakama. Work on your 4 and 5, your power forward and your center. I believe when you have those solid, then make sure that your point guards are good shooters. Once you have good outside shooting, I think you have defeated your opponent halfway. So that's what I expect, despite the short period for preparations.
Okay, despite the short period of preparations, let's look at the coach, Raina Wakama. She was really given that chance when she came on board last year, but against all odds, they went to the Afro Basket, Women's Afro Basket 2023, and they lifted that trophy without losing a game. And that put them on the map of the world. And during the Olympics qualifier, we saw what happened. Despite we had to beat our African neighbors, that is Senegal, and that gave us a grip. We lost our last game to the host country during the qualifiers, Belgium. But for Raina Wakama, has she really, even from your own point of view, going forward, what is your take on her performances with the Super Falcons so far? This will be her second major tournament with the girls.
Yes, when you look at her performance, you will know that she's not a stranger when it comes to winning. She brought in a winning culture. That's why the girls did not drop a game en route to the victory. When you have been able to win an Afro Basket, when you are used to winning a tournament, then it means there are certain things that you are doing right. I want to believe that her tactics have been working. I want to believe that there is motivation around the team. I want to believe that she has a way of bringing out the best in the players. Sometimes it's not about assembling players, but making the best use of their talents. I think that magic has worked for us. If there is any coaching appointment that has worked for a 200 million population of Nigeria, I think is the selection of the Tigress coach. That is one decision that I would say I would give them 100% because they did not clutter in that decision making, and I'm quite impressed. I hope that the winning culture will follow these leads, that whenever they decide to bow out of the Olympics, they will bow out with their heads or shoulders up high. But I trust in the formation, the tactics of Rena Wakama.
Okay, Rena Wakama. We will not have our inspirational captain in the team. That is Sarah Goke, who, for personal reasons, is not part of the team to the Paris Games. Do you think the girls themselves, because let's take the coach, but for the girls, are they going to miss her presence in the team?
Yes, definitely they will miss her presence in the team. We watch NBA finals a lot, and sometimes we see that great players tend to miss out. We had a certain Perkins that missed out on the 2010 NBA finals, and he kept boasting that if he had been there, they would have won. If he had been there, they would have won. But who knows? I mean, look at the Boston Celtics that just won the last championships. They were boasting that if their 7-3 power forward was around, they will definitely win. If he's not around, they will not win. But he missed most of the matches, and they still won the championship. I mean, they still won the chip, regardless. So sometimes basketball is more than a single player. We know that some players are special, especially our team captain. But for a team that a championship is built around, for a team that can win an Afro basket, it means the team should be synchronized such a way that even the absence of a single player should not be enough to deter the team. I believe the team can still make it because we still have very good players on that team that I believe can carry the shoulders, can carry the burden, the offensive load, and even the defensive load of course, keeping the team top. But to be honest with you, we really miss our services.
Okay, to be honest, we really miss our services for the D Tigress. They lost their second friendly game to Serbia, and they will be playing the last game against Japan before the Paris game starts proper on the 26th. Paris games will be starting in France. We'll be seeing the opening ceremony and what have you. You are sure to be getting all of the updates from France on 360 Sports and also our sports show evening, that is sports update. We'll also be looking at Super Falcons, their first game against the Brazilians. All of these games and many more. Our athletics, which is the mother, they say athletics is the mother of all sports, will be starting on the 1st of August, and then it will run through to the last day of the Paris Games, that is 11th August, where we'll be expecting the likes of Toby Amuson, S.A. Brume, Yakubeyen, Tima, God bless, Favor Philly, the Kintolas, and Favor Ashe, Shekiri and Co., also Ezekiel Nathaniel, Chidi Okeze, all of them will be seeing them on the track. Adeshina on the high jump, and so many of them will be seeing them doing what they know how to do come from the 1st of August, where the mother of sports, that is athletics, would be starting. All right, let's leave that story and talk. It's a good news after 5 years not playing any competitive game, not even attending any competition, but this time around they were able to do it right, and they did it very well at the Beach AFCON 2024 qualifiers. That is the Super Sun Eagles. They beat Mauritania 5-4. It ended in their first leg of the Beach AFCON 2024 qualifiers. The return leg will be will be played in Nigeria, precisely in Kaduna, this coming weekend. Michael, this team has not been together for 5 years, but they still pulled the surprise against Mauritania in the first leg of the qualifiers.
it simply shows that despite the long absence, their spirits have been there, and it shows during their play. I mean, to be able to secure a narrow margin victory shows that the team, despite the preparations, short preparations, they were able to synchronize. I must give kudos to the coach to be able to package a team for a tournament of this caliber, to be able to even grind out a victory against a team that has been consistent in playing. But then sometimes when you save a lot of energy, you have more energy to go for such a round. I just hope that for the return leg, they will have more sustained energy to be able to pull it off. When you are hosting, sometimes the pressure is on you. The crowd may be behind you, but then the pressure will still mount on you to be able to live up to expectation. I'm sure they just played their hearts out and never probably not expect a victory. But now that a victory is theirs, they will definitely want to sit up to ensure that they maintain this streak, and that will put a little more pressure on them. But I want the coach to just psychologically motivate these players, just let them understand that all is well, regardless of the outcome. But they should just ensure that they watch the tapes again, go over it, and look at their lapses despite the victory, and then work on it to see how they can consolidate on what they have achieved in the first leg.
Yes, consolidate on what they have achieved in the first leg, 5 years out. But despite that, they were able to beat Mauritania 5-4 in the first leg of the Beach AFCON qualifiers. Let's leave that story still on the continent, but this time around we'll talk about club football, where CAF has actually given Rangers, Academy Warriors, and Remo Stars extension date for them to register their players for the 2024-2025 CAF Champions League and for the Confederations Cup. I think CAF is actually being lenient to Nigerian team, if you ask me, Michael, because giving us another extension, giving our teams another extension so that they can register their player for the competition, I think it's a good one coming in from CAF.
Time the CAF are being humane. They've been considerably considerate. I must commend CAF. They are aware that Nigeria is experiencing internal crisis, intra-sporting crisis, intra-political crisis, and so they know that we will need a little bit of leniency to be able to meet up with the rest of the teams. I must say, for the first time, I want to commend CAF for being using a human face, I mean, to make critical decisions. We really want the teams to please hurry up and ensure that they do the needful so as not to be pleading or appealing for further extension. The management of the Remo, the Rangers, the El Kanemi should please do the needful. Time is not on their side. They need to get their CAF season going.
Okay, they need to get their CAF season going. Good commendation for CAF for allowing these teams, giving them that extension to put their house in order and register the players they actually want to use in executing the CAF Champions League and the Confederations Cup. We know that the transfer windows is still open in Nigeria and players are moving from one team to the other. Let's see how it goes, and I believe that is why CAF has actually extended this players' registration for all of these teams. All right, let's leave the shores of the continent and go straight to Europe. He has always been in the news, the transfer news, even before the season ended, and the news is still ongoing. But this time around, it might the green light might just be coming up gradually, where we will see Victor Osimhen leaving Napoli for PSG. Now, the story is PSG in talks with Napoli for Osimhen's deal. The talks for Osimhen to leave Napoli has not been going on. This time around, I think the PSG are stepping up in that discussion to see how they can bring Osimhen back to France and then replace Kylian Mbappe, who left for Real Madrid.
To be honest with you, Kylian Mbappe's shoes are very large. I mean, it's a very big shoe for Osimhen to fill. I mean, if there's any point in his career where the pressure will really mount on him, it is this season. I mean, going to a PSG club to replace a player that gives you 40 goals every season. I mean, to replace arguably the number one striker in the world. I mean, Osimhen's parents should be on their knees doing night vigil every day to ensure that his injuries don't make PSG regret this decision. I mean, you cannot, if you have an opportunity to be a player to replace the world best. Imagine PSG had won the Champions League. That would have been your Ballon d'Or player you are going to replace. I mean, an African player of the year going to replace a Ballon d'Or supposed best player in the world. I mean, it's a very big shoe for Osimhen. My only number one prayer is, first of all, he's really good in the French league. I think he played for Lille, and so I know he's good with French football. He understands how it's being charted. But to go back to a PSG team, he will be surrounded by much better defense and midfield. So I expect a better outing for Victor Osimhen. Barring injuries, I think Victor Osimhen has the aggression, the charge to be able to deliver. I see him replicating his Napoli form of last 2 seasons that saw him won the African Player of the Year. I just hope that he stays healthy.
Yes, you hope Victor Osimhen stay healthy. Talks between Victor Osimhen and the club definitely went well. It's now left for Napoli and PSG to iron out other agreements so that the player can move. Victor Osimhen himself wants to go back to France and join PSG. They are ready. 14 million euro a year. Big money for Victor Osimhen. If he definitely makes that move, he continue to rake in a lot of money into his pocket. The money is there, PSG, they have the money. They are Khalifas are the owners of that team. So they have the money to do big things on a big stage. All right, still talking about transfers on the show this morning. Quickly, let's look at these. It is one of the oldest clubs in the world and also in the Italian Serie A. But this time around, Como signs Raphael Varane from Manchester United. He's a free agent. He left Manchester United. And for Como, who also has signed Cesc Fabregas, who is a co-owner of that team, as their manager. But this time around, grabbing some of this legend, we have the likes of Belotti, who has already joined them. I think it's a good signing for Raphael Varane to play for a team that is coming back to the Italian Serie A after they did so well, making their way to play in the top flight.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's when you look at his career, I mean, for a player that has played for the best club in the world, in Real Madrid, I mean, played for Manchester United, automatically when he comes there, he brings in that veteran presence, he brings in that experience to keep them from being re-relegated, you know. For I think that's the best decision the team has made, to be able to bring, I mean, a player of this caliber, even though in the twilight of his career, we know Varane, a starter for the French national team in his heyday, a starter for Real Madrid in his heyday, and of course Manchester United. This is a player who has won it all. He has seen it all. I mean, bringing his experience to such a team, I think is a privilege for the team to have such a centre back. The other parents, they will have to learn from him and watch how he orchestrates his defensive maestro. So I think it's a good signing, one of the ways to sign out your career. I mean, the twilight of your career. This is how to go about it before we see him going to Saudi. I was even thinking he will opt for Saudi big money, but it's good he starts this way.
Yes, it's good he starts this way. Como, like one of the oldest club in the Italian Serie A. They have Cesc Fabregas as their new manager. So let's see how it will go for Cesc Fabregas and Raphael Varane in the Italian Serie A. Still talking the transfer. This one, let's come back to the English Premier League and go straight to London, where West Ham United shows interest in AC Milan defender Fikayo Tomori. He's a Nigerian, but playing for the Three Lions of England. All right, let's move to the next one. Let's go straight to the red side of Manchester. Manchester United confident to sign Xavi Simons ahead of Bayern Munich, RB Leipzig, and PSG. Yeah, quickly, Michael, let's talk about Xavi Simons before we move to the last one on the show. for Xavi Simons, he was also a very good revelation last season. I know he actually in fact, he was a very good contender with Victor Boniface for the Rookie Player of the Year last season. But in all, Victor Boniface actually beat him to take that award 3 times on a row.
Yes, I mean, he's a very solid player. I mean, he's one player, he's a darling to watch when it comes to the club side football. It seems like Man United really look quite ambitious. They've not been deterred in their ambitious drive to bring in solid players. Of course, I think that it's a good move for Man United. I hope they actually get this signing because it's difficult. I mean, to turn your back at a team like a Bayern Munich or even a PSG. I mean, these teams at the moment are more attractive than a Manchester United brand. I mean, let's be honest, they are more attractive. So for him to be able to get to Man U, I think it's going to be a very big addition. Man U will boost their young core, and I think Bruno Fernandes will definitely be happy with this signing.
Okay, we'll be happy with this sign. All right, before we go on the show, Al Ittihad makes move for Manchester City. Ederson, who has also won the Champions League, the English Premier League, the FA Cup. This time around, Al Ittihad wants to beef up their goalkeeping department. All right, that is where we'll be leaving it on the show this morning. Abba Michael, thanks for joining on the show. It's a good one having you on 360 Sports from Trust TV.
Yeah, thank you very much. See you in the evening.
All right, that is it on the program. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. Say thanks for watching.